What's up, guys? Welcome back to the show and thank you for tuning in. It's been a while since I've made a real video for you guys. I know that I've said that before, but the reason I wanted to make this pickups video for you today is because later this week, today's March 27th, I'll be going to the Midwest Gaming Classic in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'll be meeting up with a few friends over there and I imagine picking some more stuff up, and therefore I'll probably want to make a video about that stuff in the future. And so I wanted to get the stuff over here on the table out of the way in front of you so that we could just focus on the trade show coming up. I also wanted to mention that I'm fighting a cold, so there could be places in this episode where I struggle to breathe or talk. And with that out of the way, we'll get to the first item. It's Gunhead for the PC Engine. This is also known as Blazing Lasers for the TurboGrafx 16. Very good game. I did a 1-minute review on this, and spoiler alert, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Or 4 out of 5 Dad Megamans, if you will. I think it lacks something in the music department, but that's just me. And the next game comes to us by way of Whatnot. I'm trying to tiptoe into Whatnot territory, get my feet wet over there. And I got this first one for $1. It's Top Gun Second Mission. I figured I couldn't go wrong there. I don't know if you're familiar with the way Whatnot works, but let's say the first item that you purchase might be $4 to ship, let's say. Every subsequent item that you buy from that particular seller will be like 50 cents shipping, so it kind of makes sense to buy more than one thing if you can. And I did. Not that this is one of those. I'll get to one of the other ones later. This next one I picked up from GameStop and surprised my daughter with it. It's Dreams for the PS4. This was recommended by Nostalgia Lane. I would characterize this game as a kind of creative community sandbox type game. Yes, you can make creations, although the learning curve is super steep. But we are having fun playing a lot of other people's creations. It's a good time for sure. Very cheap game. Very inexpensive. Yeah, it's worth it. A lot of fun. 1 or 2 player action, up to 4 players, I suppose. Next one was one of the other things that I purchased from Whatnot. I had never heard of this before. It's Geometry Wars 3 for the PlayStation 4. And I know this is silly reasoning, but it intrigued me. And you know what? I thought to myself, if they're on Geometry Wars 3, how bad can it be, right? They've made a few of these by now. People must be buying them, and therefore it must be pretty good, right? That's my dumb reasoning. It's a fun time, I gotta say. This really surprised me. I never heard of it, like I said. It's like a twin stick, turn off the brain and play type of game. You're just shooting other geometric shapes going around the map. So yeah, a lot of fun. I'm happy with that. Very happy with that. Okay, now the next game has a bit of a story to it. You guys know, or might not know, that I'm a big fan of Twin Cobra on the Sega Genesis. And I learned kind of recently that it came out for other systems. Of course, it was on the arcade. It came out for the TurboGrafx. It also came out for the NES. And when I found that out, I looked this up right away on eBay, and I found this copy. You might have noticed that there's a little bit of my handiwork going on over here. I got this for like 1/3 of the price. I made this into a project. There was a whole chunk of plastic missing here, and you can't tell too well on video, I imagine, but there's some teeth marks back here. I imagine somebody's dog got a hold of this and chomped on it and took out a big chunk of plastic there, and you were able to see the PCB. So I'll put up kind of I don't know what I took. I took some video, I took some photos. I'll show a little montage of the handiwork there. But I salvaged it as best I could, and I did some I took my daughter's paint and I tried to mix it to get the color right. You know, is it perfect? Absolutely not. It's like a million miles from perfect, but it's in better shape than it was, and it's a playable copy. And like I said, maybe I didn't say it, I got this for like $5 or $6. Okay, I don't know what it goes for. I think it goes for about triple that, if I'm not mistaken. I'm happy to play this. It's very interesting to be playing this after having played the Sega Genesis one. It's like the same stages, the same music, but it's like in low fidelity. I don't know how to say it. it's mind-blowing a little bit. It's just interesting to me. After having played the Sega Genesis one so much, it's just sort of comical to play and listen to this one. All right, moving on to a bit of hardware here. I made my first ever purchase off of AliExpress. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that. I purchased the knockoff Everdrive here, and I suppose this would also be a knockoff, whatever the heck it's called, turbo booster, you know, the AV adapter to get either the composite or component video going or whatever this is. This is like the Sega Genesis. That's not S-Video. I don't know what that's called. This says MD2. I don't know what MD2 is. Maybe it's just referred to as MD2. Anyway. All right. Well, I was happy with this for one day until this stopped working. I hadn't even tried this yet, but I was still using this with RF. Worked for a day, no problem. The next day, it stopped working. By the way, very, very cheap. $40 shipped. So we're not talking about a lot of money here. It's disappointing that something breaks after one day, no matter how much money, but we're not talking about a lot of money. I just want to put that out there that I'm not super heartbroken over it. What else can I say about this? So I also tried this. I tried all three of these, by the way. I tried this Sega Genesis thing. I tried the composite. This didn't work either, so I don't know what's going on. You would think something as simple as this would be no problem. This one, I don't know. I just don't know. But it was disappointing, especially after that card had worked for a day. So at this point, it's sort of like junk. It's, it's kind of like junk or a paperweight. I don't know what else to say about that. So, because I had so much power in my hands with every TurboGrafx 16 and PC Engine game at my fingertips, and it was just taken away after a day, I couldn't help myself. And guess what? Yeah, I made the purchase. I actually got a legitimate one. I'll show you some pictures of it over there in the machine. I couldn't help myself, you know. It's awesome. What can I say? So far, it's been flawless. I love it. My daughter and I have been playing all the Bonk games. Some more of the Bomberman games I've been playing. Shooters like crazy. Superstar Soldier. Soldier Blade. Final Soldier. All the Soldiers. Big fan of Soldier Blade, by the way. Big time. Of course, they're all good. Yeah, I'm exploring the library. What a good time that is. Very, very happy with this other purchase. And for the heck of it, with this AliExpress, I put in a claim to get a refund, you know, just because I might as well try. If it doesn't pan out, it doesn't pan out. Live and learn. So we can move on from that. Shout out to my good buddy Jason at Kinda Cool. After I got this in the mail, he helped me through getting the ROMs going, because this doesn't come with anything. Of course, it comes with the card, but it doesn't come with, you know, the preloaded micro SD card like this other one did. But anyway, we're up and running and we're good to go. So happy with that. Last thing I want to talk about, at least I think it's the last thing, is, you know, back to this guy. You know, I wasn't too sure. I mean, I was kind of sure that this wasn't going to go anywhere, but I still wanted to give the component video a try, because I'd only tried composite and this up until that time. And I wound up talking to another good friend, Retro Projections, John over at Retro Projections, and he sent me some, a big box actually. He sent me some component cables and some audio cables. Big, heavy duty component and audio cables. So I thought I would give this knockoff AV card one final try with John's excellent cables over here, and unfortunately that didn't work out, but I'm still happy to have these cables. Maybe in the future I'll pursue a more legitimate AV adapter. And I also want to think of a good way, if I do get something similar to this, if it doesn't have kind of like a housing to it, to kind of mount it better. Because I imagine, you know, this with these heavy cables, this is just going to get like bullied around, and I'm afraid. And, you know, since you got 69 pins back there, I don't know, something's bound to go wrong there, bent out of shape. So I might look for something that's, you know, A, more legitimate, and B, has some sort of a housing so that this doesn't move around and come detached from the actual console very easily. But of course, we're talking about John from Retro Projections here, and he couldn't just send the cables. No, he also sent me some extras. He sent me this. This is a, looks like Electronic Arts Sega Genesis multi-tap. I had never even seen this before. I guess this can be used for sports games from what I understand, or any EA game. I have no idea. I can't imagine using this for Shaq Fu, but sports games perhaps, right? Yes, very, very, very interesting. And he sent me a couple of games, all right? They're repros, that's okay. I'm okay with that. He sent me Contra Hardcore. All right, never played that before. Big fan of Contra, though. By the way, I will just say I was happy, relieved that these were repros. I did not expect John to throw in these heavy-hitting games here, so I was actually relieved, okay? I just wanted to put that out there. And the other one, check this out. Look at that. Castlevania Bloodlines with a cool clamshell box with, like, you know, the artwork. And like I said, who cares if it's a repro? It looks great. It looks great. Looks great. It works perfectly. This is in a Mega Drive shell? Yeah, works fine. So I think that just about brings us to the end of the episode. I hope you enjoyed this. And let me know if you have any comments or questions below. I'm a big fan of this Everdrive, okay? I'm very, very happy with the purchase. Of course, I wish I would have just gone this route in the first place. However, I do know people who have gone the AliExpress route, and they've had much better luck than me. It's okay, you know? Win some, you lose some. But big shout out and thank you to Jason from Kinda Cool for helping me with the Everdrive. Shout out to Nostalgia Lane for cluing me in on this fun game. And last but not least, thank you, John from Retro Projections, for the very generous box with the cables and the games and the multi-tap there. And that does it for this episode. Maybe I'll see you at the Midwest Gaming Classic in Milwaukee. I hope so. I'll be walking around with sunglasses, perhaps. And other than that, I'll see you soon. Take care.